we have a responsibility. I think the longer the period of time that you're in existence, I think the greater respect you have to pay to the people whose shoulders you stand on.
Banking services in Marion started way back in 1894. The bank at that time was called, it was a national bank. So the First National Bank of Marion decided to turn their charter in. Well, when they did that, they had another bank all lined up, and that became Marion State Bank. Chartered in February of 1941. One of the people that was promoting the bank kind of went from door to door or trying to sell stock in the new bank. So he did that locally, and by far the majority of our shareholders really live right here in the area. And that's really a strong point for us because, you know, the shareholders understand the area that we're operating in, and it's just nice to have that support, and that's very, very loyal support. Bear Creek decided they wanted a bank, and they traveled up and down the highway to the cities north and south of them, and those cities wouldn't give them a charter or a branch. So a fellow by the name of Bernard Mayers from Bear Creek, he got on a train, traveled all the way to Washington, D.C., met with the representatives there, and evidently he really gave a convincing story because they did finally approve a branch in Bear Creek, and that still is our branch today. As time went on, we started acquiring branches. We actually purchased 4 offices back in 2012, and more recently we purchased a office in Winneconne. So today we're up to where we have 11 locations. When you think of this little bank, started out in Marion with roughly $50,000 of deposits. The bank today has roughly $250 million in deposits. So in the last 15, 16 years, we've grown 1.5 times as much as we grew the first 59 years that the bank was in existence. Not often, but once in a while there'd be a comment, well, even though Marion's got these branches, I don't know if I want to go bank there. I can remember, 25 years ago when I was in football or whatever, this guy run over me and from Marion and, da-da-da-da-da.
I remember when one gal said, we had this guy come in and all he said to me is, there's no way I'm putting money in a Mustang bank. She said, what does that mean?
It became apparent that maybe we had to have some kind of a branding done. We had Premier Checking, we had Premier Savings, we went to a Premier Advantage account. Once we kind of got the customers all in tune with this Premier and seeing Premier all over on our advertising and stationery and accounts that said Premier, we will change the name and we'll open our doors on Monday morning in a new bank and a new name and so forth. And we choose Premier Community Bank, and it's worked out very well for us ever since.
I think the easiest way to describe a community bank would be to say it's a people bank. The connection, my experience has been a community bank generally hires people from the community.
I had a customer one time, and I had seen her on the street, and I said, I just miss that smell sometimes of the hay, the new hay, when it's coming up. I said, I don't get that sitting in the bank. Next time she came in, she brought me a bouquet of alfalfa. It's that type of thing. I think you just have a connection with people that I think is personal as opposed to impersonal. I think they like that relationship that they have, that they're going to know who they are. When they walk in the bank, they pretty much know who they're going to see.
When you're dealing with something like money, I think it's difficult to say, I'm going to let this person that I know nothing about, have never seen before, to direct my financial future.
That's one of the selling points is you know the person.
To have an organization, board, and shareholders that support the idea of an independent community bank in our communities that we serve is critical to our future. And they have given every indication that that's their desire as well. We wouldn't have made the investment in the people that we've made. We wouldn't have made the investment in the locations that we've made, the technology that we've made, if it was our intention to no longer be an independent organization. We consistently talk about making decisions today that we may not see the benefit for a couple of years. The analogy I always see is the windshield of a vehicle. And the windshield of a vehicle is pretty wide, but there's always that little shaped mirror up on the top, and that's your rearview mirror. You can't drive down a road looking out the rearview mirror. The windshield is this big, the rearview mirror is this big. You have to be aware of where you came from and what you've done, but really the focus needs to be on going forward.